If you've reached the end of the year, wondering where the time went and how it all flew by so fast, this video is for you. I'm sharing how I'm planning for 2026 in a way that's intentional, realistic, and actually works for real life as a busy mom without the overwhelm or burnout. Hi friends, it's Toya here at Toya Talks, and I'm a wife, mom, and family nurse practitioner with over 17 years of experience. And on this channel, I share wisdom, wellness, and advocacy to support women through every season of motherhood from the lessons that I've learned. If you're a mother navigating growth, health, and purpose, you're in the right place. So please, if you like what you hear, like and subscribe. All right, so my why. Why am I planning 2026 differently? If I think back on 2025, I was intentional, but the year very much still felt like a blur. A lot of times I felt like I was doing a lot, but sometimes missing the moments because I didn't really feel present. I was running from thing to thing without really being able to take in the experience. And often this is something that we can relate to as moms, right? Where we're running from practice to work to doing things at home to making dinner, business ventures or hobbies. We're busy, we're stretched, and we're juggling a ton of different roles. When I think back to 2025 and how it was such a blur, I really want to set a different shift going into 2026. I want to move away from that hustle, do more, goal setting mentality and move more towards connection, balance, and really being aligned with my goals and what's important to me. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 4 strategies that guide how I'm planning 2026 and that can help you plan for the new year with clarity and intention. You don't need to apply all 4 strategies at once. Just listen and take what resonates with you. Strategy 1. This is the one-word strategy, which is my anchor for the whole year. And if you have watched any of my previous videos, I have a video called the one-word strategy. And really what this is a way that instead of making a list of resolutions, you pick one word for the year. Oftentimes I will take time to really pray on this word, to think about what is a theme that came up for me throughout the year and what is one word that if I can apply this across the board to the things that I do, that would help me make the most progress in the year. So this word becomes a filter for your decisions, a guide for your priorities, and is really a grounding point for you across all the seasons. So for me, for 2026, my word is consistency. For all of my goals, whether that's health goals, whether that's the way I show up for my children or in my business, my guiding word and principle for the entire year is consistency. This works really well for me because using this word helps me to be clear on what I should and shouldn't say yes to, and helps me to say no without the guilt. So like I said, I really take time to pray on my word. You don't need to force your word, right? Like just think about, again, what maybe has come up for you and let your word emerge from that. And just think to yourself, what word would help me make the most progress across all my goals for the next year? And again, like I said, my word is consistency. Some people have responsibility. I've used words like wisdom in the past. I've used words like peace in the past. And again, that has really helped be a guiding principle throughout the year. And I may do another video later where I walk you through my one word process again and how I print out that one word on a paper and post it on the wall so that I have that to look back at throughout the year. So the second strategy that I utilize, and this one is a new one, which is the energy audit. This is what I'm going to apply to my life and my calendar before I plan anything. What the energy audit looks like is asking this key question: does this activity give me energy or drain my energy? This is important because a lot of times we add so many things to our calendar and just say yes without stopping to ask ourselves, is this something that's truly fulfilling to me? Is this something I even want to do, right? Or is this something that really kind of drains my energy and that I feel anxiety and dread around? And this is important because sometimes we need to protect the white space in our schedule. What I mean by that is I might have a Saturday that's completely wide open. I don't have anything scheduled. And then someone reaches out and invites me to do something. And I look at my calendar and I don't have anything on the schedule. But if I'm honest with myself, I don't really want to go do that thing that that person invited me to. But I feel like, well, I don't have anything else to do. Why not? By asking myself, does this give me energy or drain my energy? I can decide, you know what? This doesn't feel right for me. And I'm going to protect that white space, because sometimes it's okay to have nothing on your calendar. Sometimes nothing is the plan. You need that time to get caught up on things around the house, or just to rest and to read, or Netflix binge for a little bit, right? If you've been super productive, sometimes we need those times to just completely unplug and just do something mindless for a little bit. That energy audit is key. And that's also something that's going to go a really long way towards preventing burnout, which is a huge issue for us as women and as mothers. It also allows us to be more present for our family and ourselves, because we're not feeling all that anxiety and overwhelm from doing activities that drain us, right? What I also love about the energy audit and protecting white space on your calendar is that there's been a lot of buzz about this slow living lifestyle and this slow life, which doesn't fully resonate with me because I'm always on the go. But I like to call it slow-mo living. That's my goal, right? And so if you remember, we used to talk about like slow motion videos, slow motion in games. That slow-mo is what my goal is, right? Where instead of feeling like I'm Sonic the Hedgehog going 1,000 miles an hour, slowing life down. And part of that for me is doing that energy audit, asking myself, is this something that excites me and nourishes me, or is this something that drains me? So that's another strategy that I use, really going into this season of not trying to do more, but incorporate more rest, as well as even just unplugging from being connected to as much email and technology and different things like that. This energy audit is really helpful. It's about doing more of what matters the most. All right, so next is strategy 3. And what I love about this is that this gives you a framework for setting your goals around. So instead of just kind of willy-nilly picking resolutions, and I tend to be very goal-oriented, but sometimes I still have a hard time really thinking about what resolutions I want to set in which areas. So these 9 core areas of life are really great because they help make sure my life feels balanced and not just productive. So I'm going to run through the 9 core areas just so that you can hear what they are. So area 1 is spiritual, which is around faith, prayer, grounding, and alignment. Next is family, which has to do with your time, presence, and connection with your spouse and kids. Ministry is your service or calling and how you give back. Your health has to do with your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Career / business / school, that has to do around your work, purpose, and personal and academic growth. Next is finances, which has to do with your stewardship, budgeting, and planning. The next area is intellectual development, so learning, reading, personal growth. Next is your social capital or your network, right? So your friendships, your community, business community, external relationships. And the last area is fun, where you get joy and rest and play and enjoyment. But those 9 areas are all so important to emphasizing a balanced life. And hear me clearly when I say that some seasons you will need to work on certain areas more than others. It's not realistic to think that we can make progress in all 9 areas of life equally all at the same time. What's really good to do is to break up your year, which I'm going to get into next, but to break up your year and pick 1 to 2 areas that you really want to focus on in that season. And then when you go into the next season, maybe shift that focus. And now that you've picked up some momentum in a couple areas, maybe now you establish some consistency or healthy patterns in other areas. So this really leads nicely into our last strategy, which is quarterly planning. And this is how it all comes together and you make it real. So you take all the strategies that we've already discussed, the energy audit, the 9 core areas, that 1 word, and you break your year into quarters, right? Or 12 weeks. There's a really great book on Amazon called The 12-Week Year. I will post that in the description so that you can check it out. But what that's about really is breaking your year down into quarters. So 12 weeks at a time, you focus on certain areas in each quarter, right? So maybe in the first quarter of the year, you want to focus on health and finances. So you really get things in order with getting your savings automated. You start maybe investing a little bit, establish a exercise routine. And for those 12 weeks, that's really where you go in. And not that you forget the other core areas, right? You write out your goals for each area in the beginning of the year, but in the quarters, that's where you break it up. In quarter 2, maybe you shift, and maybe Q2 becomes a little bit more of a focus on the family, or for me, that would be Q3, right? Because the kids are usually out of school around Q3. So that's when we do a lot of family focused things. And we also make sure that we have time in the evenings to either do family devotional, or I'll connect with them at family dinner. Sometimes we don't always have time to sit down together every night to eat. I'll schedule at least 3 nights a week, right, where we have family dinner and use that as connection time. So that's a goal for me. For spiritual growth, right, I need to make sure I'm blocking time for prayer and reflection. My relationship, I need to make sure I'm protecting space for a date night. My friendships, making sure I'm making time for girls' night out. So that, kind of covers my social capital. Setting work boundaries covers career. Travel and making sure I'm getting out to do things that are fun, that helps to really put focus on that fun core area. But planning in quarters helps make those 9 core areas and all those resolutions not seem as overwhelming. And what's really nice about this is that the quarters help to accommodate for the different life changes and phases that we go through, right? Some seasons we know at work we're going to be busier than others. Our energy is different at certain times of the year. I know sometimes people have a lower energy level in the winter and more energy around the spring, summer, and even going into fall months. These areas are to help support your life and to help with your planning and to guide you in identifying what are your priorities. Your life doesn't exist to serve your planner or your calendar. You should build your life to suit you and the way that feels authentic to you. And then your planner and your calendar goes around your life. If you'd like me to post more videos about this quarterly planning process and go a little bit more in depth, let me know in the comments and I can do so. So as I close out, I just want to provide some final encouragement for all of you moms out there that are watching. I really want to just help normalize your feelings of burnout, overwhelm, uncertainty, wanting more peace, feeling like the time is speeding by. You don't need to overhaul your whole life. Just start first with becoming aware. And then after you have become aware that, okay, I don't like how this felt, I want to move differently, then move forward. And I invite you to consider 1 word for your year, plan for 1 quarter, and 1 area of your life. I really want to emphasize that this whole process is about progress versus perfection. The idea is not necessarily to get it perfect, but we want to have an intentional focus versus being overwhelmed, feeling like the time is speeding by and not knowing what happened. If you like what you heard, please like and subscribe for more videos. And then let me know in the comments, which of the 9 areas do you want to be more intentional about in 2026? I look forward to hearing from you. And until next time, see you on Toya Talks.